Round of applause for our Hall of Fame manager, Mr. Ward. Give you guys a view. All right? All yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And I mentioned this to a few of you earlier, but I just wanted to tell you, congrats again on being here. From a management perspective, one of the great things about hearing me talk is that I am your target customer. I am age 30 to 60. I am married, and I am a homeowner. So by sharing this information with you, you're actually getting it straight from the type of people that you should be seeing every day and doing demos with. So I'll be able to give you some really good firsthand account to what your expectations should be when working with and trying to sell to somebody my age. You know, I remember when I was a lot younger, our talk today is going to be about selling sets. Okay, so just by show of hands, how many of you would like to raise your average order? Right? You raise your average order, that means you sell more in the same amount of time, right? So that's a positive. How many of you would like to hit your next promotion faster? Yes? Okay, cool. How many of you would like to have happier customers? Yes? Okay, because what happier customers create, they create repeat business for you, and then of course you get more referrals from that as well. So there's a lot of big reasons why we're going to talk about selling sets today. But when I was thinking about this message to give you guys, I remember when I was your age and I'd get a flat tire, right? Or I need to go in and get my tires repaired maybe on my car. It was not feasible for me to replace all 4 tires. And what would happen is I would maybe have one tire that was like Bridgestone and then one tire that was Goodyear. It wasn't really about sets, right? And I remember when I was younger, maybe if I liked a shirt, I'd get it. Or maybe if I liked a pair of shoes, I'd get it. But now that I'm older, it doesn't work that way. Like you match, right? So like when you buy your belt and you buy your shoes, you're thinking about how it matches your wardrobe. You don't just go buy a shirt anymore. You think about how your shirt is going to match the rest of what you're wearing. And these are some of the things that your customers who are older that you're going to be selling sets to think about all the time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cover 3 big keys to help you sell more sets. And by doing that, we're going to address all of these things. We're going to help you raise your average order. We're going to help you get your next promotion faster. We're going to help you create happier customers, which will create more referrals for you. And then also will create more repeat business. Now, just so I get an idea of my audience here, who is brand new? You started literally in the last 2 weeks by show of hands. Okay. Fantastic. How many of you are a little bit older in the business? Maybe over $6,000 in career sales. How many do I have? Just a handful. And then anybody over 10,000? We got a few. Okay, perfect. It gives me a great idea about my audience here. So, 3 keys to selling more sets. The first thing I'd like for you to jot down, if you're taking notes, first thing I want you to write down is expectancy. Expectancy. When you go into your presentation, what is your expectation? Right? I know you see this nice big setup here. You see the Homemaker set right here, right? You see, most of the ladies in the room, they're conscious of like the way their earrings match their shirt or their blouse or their pants or their shoes. People think about these things as you get older, right? Like in my kitchen, I'm married. So guess what? Everything has to match. It has to match when you set the table. It has to match when you have company come over so things don't look all wacko, right? Everything is about sets when you get older. When you go buy a vehicle, you don't just go buy the tires. You don't just, go buy a gas cap. You buy the whole car, right? When you go buy golf clubs, you really don't buy one club unless you're replacing a broken club. Most of the time, you go get a full set, right? How many of you have gone out and bought one shoe before? One sock? No? It's all about sets, right? So when you are addressing your expectations, you really should think about it that way because it's all about sets when you get to this age. You want everything to match, you want everything to look good, and that's, people come into their homes. There's 2 places in a home that sells the home. There's 2 places in your home that people buy the home for. You want to guess what they are?
Kitchen.
The kitchen is the big one. The other one's the bathroom, which isn't quite relevant for our conversation here, but now you know. So the kitchen is where you're going to take a lot of company. You're going to have people come through your kitchen all the time. It's all about things matching. Now, I don't know if you guys saw recently on Facebook, we had something we shared from corporate Eva Longoria was doing a video, and it was kind of like a tour of her house. It kind of felt like Cribs used to look, where you kind of go through and kind of see the house. Well, Eva had a giant set of Cutco sitting on her countertop in her kitchen, right? Because she liked the way that it looks. It's prestigious. It's an awesome looking set, and everything matches, right? And just so you guys know, just from an OCD perspective as a manager as well, I like the fact that in a set, everything has a place. Everything's got a spot. I can look at that set and I can tell you what's missing if it's in my kitchen. I know where certain things go. And just because I like to know where things go, that's a big thing for me, right? How many of you have your closets like that? Or like your shoe collection like that, right? Everything has a certain spot. That's one of the great things Sets helps with. So your first key is going to be expectancy. Now, how do we apply this in your actual presentation? Next thing I want you to jot down, you should never say piece in your presentation, ever. Write that down. You do not say pieces. Pieces has left your vocabulary. You're going to say tool. You're going to say, Ms. Jones, the next tool in your set is such and such. Ms. Jones, the next tool in your set that I'm going to show you is the butcher knife. Ms. Jones, the next tool we're going to talk about today in your set is the table knife. If you say that 6, 7, 8, 10 times in your presentation, at some point, it's going to be like a Jedi mind trick. They're going to go, oh my gosh, I really like this tool. This would look great in my set too. You got them. They're already thinking that way. They've created ownership just through communication. So you're never saying pieces. You're saying tool, or you're saying part of your set. Okay, you're building that expectancy. So that's number one. The second key to selling sets is going to be product knowledge. Product knowledge. This one's easy. There's a wide variety of places you can go to get product knowledge. You can talk to your manager. You can go field training. You can get on Vector Connect and watch videos. Even the virtual demo has some of this built in, where you can literally watch the videos of the food being cut and show how all of the stuff works together like it's supposed to. So why is it important that a customer have a set? Well, there's a few reasons. You probably all already know this, but you are aware that sets have a built-in discount, yes? So when a customer purchases a set, they automatically save money. So that's a big one, right? So here's the next thing I like to speak about. In addition to the discount, when you buy a set, the customer gets a block or a tray, okay? Now, when you do your presentation and you talk about this block or tray, when I was a new rep, it was like, oh yeah, Ms. Jones, this is just a place for you to store your stuff. That's what it was. You know, hey, maybe you don't cut yourself. But now, when I talk about presentations, and when I was an FSM and I was at a high level of career sales, the block and the tray no longer were just about having everything in one place. The block and the tray became about protection, okay? It protects your other tools. It protects you. So when you reach down to grab something, you're not just grabbing into this random drawer of knives. Everything has a spot. Everything is protected. The knives aren't getting hurt. You're not getting hurt. Everyone wins, okay? So it's about protection. It protects your investment, and it protects you. Another great thing about sets is you always have the right tool for the right job. You know, we sell knives, so you may have heard of a Swiss Army knife. It's a pocket knife. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Swiss Army knife, right? Well, the Swiss Army knife was developed with a very specific intent. There is no one knife for every use. It doesn't exist. You can't use a paring knife to effectively carve a watermelon. You can't use a giant chef knife to effectively peel something smaller. It doesn't work. And so Swiss Army made a lot of money on the idea of a Swiss Army knife. One knife that has a bunch of different uses, right? And it all folds up into one knife. Well, in the kitchen, we don't have that option. So in the kitchen, what we do is we've built a set that addresses all of the customer's average needs. Now, in your Homemaker set, one of the great things about the way the Homemaker set is set up, perfect. Even in the Homemaker set, something like the turning fork, right? You look at the turning fork, you're like, maybe you don't use the turning fork too often. I use the turning fork all the time. Every time I flip something in the skillet or I need to lift something, it's useful for me. my point is that over the course of a married 30 to 60-year-old homeowner's life, they're going to use that 1,000 times. Easy. I mean, that's twice a week. You probably end up using it even more. So you always have the right tool for the right job. When we talk about more product knowledge, here's something else that some of you who are over $6,000 in sales, you may want to try. Now, I would encourage you to talk about this with your manager and ask that it's appropriate for your situation. But as you get better and better, one of the easy ways to raise your average order is you just start with a larger set option. So maybe instead of showing the homemaker first and then having them say no 2 or 3 times where you end up on a studio set, right? Maybe you start with the ultimate set. They tell you no the ultimate set. And then you show them the signature. They tell you no the signature. And then you show them the Homemaker Plus 8. They tell you no to the Homemaker Plus 8. And they're like, you know what? Those big sets, I don't need all that. I think the basic Homemaker without table knives would be perfect for me. That was a customer that could have purchased a studio set, but you got those no's out the way on the bigger sets, and they're comfortable with the price of a basic Homemaker now because you've got larger sets and more no's out of the way. You guys know the average customer is going to tell you no 6 times before they make a decision, right? This is a lot of times tough to understand when you're brand new, because when someone tells you no, you're like, oh, right? Like, that's not good, right? Well, think about when you go shopping. You don't walk into a store and buy the first thing you see, right? The only time you do that is when you've already gone in, you know what you want, you've already done the research, and you're just going to buy it, right? What's shopping like for you? You go to a bunch of different stores, you try on a bunch of different styles, a few different sizes, look at the prices, and then you make a decision, right? And you purchase. Well, same thing for your customer. So you want to make sure that you're starting high. That's going to help you with selling larger sets, okay? So also, with a set, you get to give more free stuff. So that's positive. The more a customer buys, the more free stuff you get to give them. All right, so we've got 2 we've done so far. First is expectancy, and second is going to be product knowledge. Okay, so third thing we're going to do, the third big key to selling sets, is explain why sets are better. Explain why sets are better. In the Homemaker set, we're going to play a quick game. How many sets inside the Homemaker set can you create? Let's go right now.
Like subsets?
Subsets. So I'll give you the first one. What about a lifting set? What about when I want to transfer a roast from one pot onto a pan? Where's my lifting set?
2 forks.
I've got my 2 forks. Now, if I didn't have both forks, would I effectively be able to lift? I'd be balancing on one knife while I'm trying to hold it with the other fork. Okay? So that doesn't work too well. Where's my carving set? Well, we can even do 2 carving sets here. We can have a large carving set for something like a turkey or a turducken, and we can have a smaller carving set for like a Cornish hen or a chicken. So your small carving set would be your petite carver and your turning fork, and your large carving set would be your carver and your carving fork. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 sets we've already got in our big set, right? Do we see any more? What else? You've got a sandwich set, maybe the paring knife or trimmer and the spatula spreader. That's a good one. What else? What about a salad set? You see a salad set up there?
Your slicer.
It could be your slicer, for a trimmer for tomatoes, right? Are you guys getting the idea that you can basically create this as you go? You can literally go through and create all of these subsets in the larger set to share with the customer and show them. Now, by doing this, and what this does is this creates more value and more credibility in them getting the larger set, because they didn't get that set, they'd lose all these smaller sets. Okay? And hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, maybe they don't buy the Homemaker from you. Maybe they only buy 2 of the smaller sets. Man, life's rough. You just got a sale. You just got a sale. Okay, so we've got many sets in the set. We've got the carving set. We've got a peeling set. We've got a salad set. All these types of things. Now, next thing I want to tell you guys about sets when you're talking to people like me who are married 30 to 60 and a homeowner, you have to understand if you're following the guidelines that you're given, you're never going to see a married 30 to 60-year-old customer who cannot afford Cutco. It doesn't exist, okay? And here's why. When you're married 30 to 60 and a homeowner, just to purchase a home, you have to put down what's called a down payment, and that's generally 5 to 20% of the value of the home. So anybody you go see living in just, I mean, like a cheap house at $200,000, that means they've got $20,000 in equity in their house. So that, like, they're worth at least $20,000. Now, do you think people put all their money in one house? Of course they don't. So my point is that you should never feel bad asking somebody my age to spend $1,000 or $1,200 on a set. I mean, think about the other kind of things that people like me have in their homes, right? We have cars outside that are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Kathy, what, a $50,000 BMW, right? You're in their kitchen, sitting where they have granite countertops that are probably $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Right behind you is the refrigerator that costs $1,500 that they just got your water out of, right? And you're probably in their $200,000 or $300,000 house, right? And then there's the $2,000 TV in the living room right next to the $3,000 sofa, love seat, and armchair. This is just stuff we have. Now, how many of those things that I just mentioned are guaranteed forever? None of them. None of them. So make sure you have your mind right when you're talking to people who are my age. They're not going to balk at $1,000 unless you do. Right? You're talking to somebody, hey, Miss Jones, this set's only $1,200. Oh my gosh, Eric, that's ridiculous. I know, Miss Jones, it should be like $2,500. You should get it now before it goes up. What? What do you mean, Eric? That's ridiculous. Well, Miss Jones, it may sound ridiculous compared to some of the other knives that you've used that have constantly broke on you and let you down. But I mean, let's be real. You got $1,200 sitting behind me in the refrigerator, right? Is it guaranteed forever? It's not. Gosh, Miss Jones, sounds like you could spend your money a lot more effectively with this and never have to worry about it again. Why don't you just pick out a set you like and you'll never have to spend money on knives ever again? Wow, that sounds like a good idea, Eric. Let's do that. Miss Jones, I hope I didn't give you the impression you had to pay for it all at once. You guys know payment options, right? Yes. Okay, $1,200 for a Homemaker is totally worth it. It really is. You want to know what the Homemaker Plus 8 was when I was a rep in 2002? $805 for a Homemaker Plus 8. And the July 13th of 2002, the Homemaker Plus 8 was $805. That means every person who bought a Homemaker from me my first summer, because I was able to show the effectiveness of these sets and the value of these sets, every single one of those people have made over $400 on their investment. Because I had the courage and confidence to ask them to get that set, because I knew what it would do for them for their futures, right? So you got to think about these things when you're talking to people. You can't get a good set of golf clubs for under $1,000. You certainly can't get a nice, big, flat screen smart TV for like a 60-inch. You can't get that for under $1,000. You know, if you can, tell me, I want one. You know, these are real life things, and very few times when we have these meetings or when you're talking with your managers, I don't know how often you get a chance to actually get someone in front of you who's married 30 to 60 and a homeowner and also involved in the business. And so I just want you guys to know, like, you should never feel bad about asking for a customer to spend that kind of money. It's only going to go up in value. It's a fantastic investment for the future. I use literally this set every day. See those kitchen tools up there? I scramble eggs every morning, okay? I am Cutco smug now. When I go places and there's no Cutco, I actually kind of freak out a little bit. I'm like, wait, you want me to use this? What is this, right? So like you get that way after years. You're like, what is this trash you want me to use? It's like you start bringing your Cutco with you when you go to in-laws and stuff. So it's like, hey, you should buy some, So, but these are the big things, okay? So first of all, you've got expectancy. You want to make sure you're never saying what? Pieces. You're never saying pieces. Pieces are no longer in your vocabulary or vernacular. Now you're saying what? Tools. Now they're tools for your set. Number 2 is going to be your product knowledge. You want to make sure You're talking about the discount, how the customer can protect their investments with blocks or trays. You're talking about always having the right tool for the right job. Makes things safer. You also can ask your manager about starting with a higher option. Maybe you show the Ultimate or the Signature first, right? I wouldn't do that until you've sold your first homemaker, by the way. If you haven't sold your first homemaker, don't do that yet. And of course, there's free stuff. I'm sorry?
If you sold a signature.
I would say that you're good. Yeah, because that's more challenging than a homemaker, for sure. Yeah, that's good. You sold a Signature? Good job. All right, so and then the third thing you're doing is you're explaining why sets are better, right? So who in here can volunteer to tell us why sets are better? Just went over. Yes, sir.
Well, it's like 20 to 30% discount when you buy the sets.
Okay.
You also get free gifts, choice of shears, entertainer pack, or the kitchen tools.
Yep.
And there's a tool for there's a job. I just said it.
Job for every tool, tool for every job.
Yeah, a tool for every job.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And then, of course, we've got the mini sets in the sets. That's a big one. And how effective do you think payment options are for selling sets? Who's sold a set on a payment plan before? Okay. Now, we've covered this. Anybody can who's married, 30, 60, and a homeowner, they can drop $1,200 if they really want to. Okay. So if we know that, it should be really easy to get somebody to spend $269 a month. What is that? Is that $8 and change a day? You literally could give up eating a Subway sandwich and a soft drink a day, and you could afford a homemaker without spending any other dollars. You literally could eat out one less time a week. $48 really won't cover more than 2 or 3 people eating when you go out to eat. Not nowadays, right? Unless you're doing Mickey D's. So $48, you give up eating out once a week with your family. You could have a homemaker plus 8, and you wouldn't spend any other money at all. It would be the exact same, and you'd have that homemaker forever, and it's guaranteed forever. So you'd probably save even more money long term buying stuff versus buying pre-packaged, pre-sliced stuff. So there's all these reasons why it's great. Okay, but you have to expect it. You have to expect that people are going to want to buy sets, and you have to give them the reasons why it's really important. Now, I have some very good news for you. Kathy Light gave me 5 hours to talk to you guys, and that's literally my material. This is what you needed to sell sets, okay? I don't want to give you a ton of stuff, because if I give you a ton of stuff, what will typically happen is you'll take 2 or 3 of those tips back and you'll use them, right? So I want to pick 3 good ones for you, and those are the ones that I want you to apply. So in the next few days and the next week or 2 here, as you're going through your push and trying to maximize your push performance so you can get recognized up on stage at your end banquet here in Houston. It's in Houston this year. Jordan will tell you more about that later. But these are really easy, really simple tips you can implement to go ahead and raise those average orders and get you maybe a little bit better trophy, maybe a little bit higher in the top 10 in the region, right? And so I hope this material helps you. So I'm gonna actually come up for air here for a second, and I was gonna see, do any of you have any questions on any of this? Because we have time. Yes, sir.
I have some stuff that actually I wanted to share, showing the 3 larger sets.
Fantastic. Okay. Yes, sir.
I have a question for her. She just said that. I was going to ask you if you started off showing the ultimate set, if you would show it just online.
She'll probably cover that for you. But when you show the ultimate set, just so you know, I only cover the tools that have not been spoken about in the home. So she'll probably give you some more guidance. Good question. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
How do you go about going into a customer's home that already has a set that they're happy to take?
Oh, that's fantastic, Miss Jones. I see you already have our starter set. How long have you had it? That's why I go first. It's kind of like when you do a phone call and the customer's like, oh, I already have Cutco. Oh, that's fantastic, Miss Jones. What do you have? Oh, I've got the big homemaker set. Oh, that's awesome, Miss Jones. You've got one of our starter sets. It's like, what? It's like, oh, yeah, you didn't know we had the ultimate set? Or it's even better if they say, oh, yeah, I've got your ultimate set. Oh, awesome, Miss Jones. How do you like our cookware? What? You have cookware? Come over.
Go.
Okay? So they never have all the Cutco. In fact, I'll give you a freebie. Here's a freebie. Okay? Your ultimate set is your complete set. Okay? That's your complete set. It's no longer the ultimate set. When I say ultimate, it's like ultimate, right? That's kind of overbearing here. So, oh yeah, Miss Jones, the ultimate's our complete set. Oh, okay. So, do you have a complete set of Cutco unless you have the ultimate? Your signature is your advanced set. Oh yeah, Ms. Jones, this is for people who want a little bit more than the basic set. This is the advanced set. Oh, okay. The Homemaker. What's the Homemaker?
Basic set.
Basic set. Homemaker's your basic set. That set right there, every single tool in this set you'll use over 1,000 times in 50 years. Do the math. Twice a week minimum, even for just the carving fork, right? You probably use table knives like I do. Table knives are always dirty in my kitchen. There isn't a day that passes that I don't use table knives, right? What's the galley set?
Starter.
Oh, Miss Jones, this is our small set. This is our small set, Miss Jones. It's great. Looks good in little kitchens, little studios. And guess what your starter sets are now called?
Good sets.
Your starter sets are now gift sets. Oh, Miss Jones, you like our studio? Yeah, that's one of our most popular gift sets. People really like it. Now, when I say gift set, I'm implying that you need a better one. This is just what you would give away. You would get something better for yourself. So I'm just kind of Jedi mind tricks. All right, so those are some freebies. So Kathy, you had some stuff that you wanted to add. If you guys have any questions on anything, I'll be around. These are some really easy tips, and then Kathy's probably got some stuff that you'll be able to implement, maybe even role play. So
Yes.
thank you guys.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Can we do a round of applause for? And guys, here's